is Dr. Farzana Hafizullah, and welcome to In the Kitchen with Dr. H. Join me and my special guests as we make incredibly tasty dishes from across the Caribbean with a healthy twist. Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to Season 2 of In the Kitchen with Dr. H. I'm Dr. Hafizullah. I am excited to be here. I'm extra happy because I've got one of my daughters here with me, one of my 4 kids, Nadia. And so this is Season 2 of In the Kitchen with Dr. H. We are so deeply grateful to Aetna. Aetna is our exclusive sponsor. We thank them greatly for helping us to spread our positive health messaging to our Caribbean community. So we are here. We're going to be cooking some Caribbean dishes with a nice healthy flair. We're going to be making some small changes to the dishes that we love while preserving these traditions that are so near and dear to our heart. Well, I'm super excited today because my special guest is none other than Dr. Deborah Gracia, and she is bringing her son to the kitchen. So this is a family affair today. We're getting our kids involved, and we are making a healthy vegetarian dish. Again, we're highlighting a dish that I kind of grew up with in Trinidad, and we'll see how well we can meld and put vegetables and flavor forward, while the small changes that we make can prevent diabetes, heart disease, stroke, you name it, okay? So without further ado, let's talk about what's on the menu today. Today we're making 2 wonderful dishes. One is actually a drink, and the other one is the meal. So we're making Curried Bodi, which is a long green bean, and we're going to drink a lime and ginger infused green tea. So please, if you've got your ingredients ready and waiting, come and cook alongside us. We would love it. Send us pictures and go to our website. Go on www.nsucaribbeanhealth.com. You can see all of the recipe details there. Send us your success stories. We want to highlight that as best as we can. And of course, go on there and share some love. Send us some love. And of course, we want to wish you a happy St. Patrick's Day. We're in green theme, and we have green dishes just for today because we celebrate it all. So without further ado, Dr. Gracia, we are so excited to have you on camera with us today. Chief Medical Officer of Borinquen Medical Centers and her son, Zachary. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. It's such an honor to cook here with you and your daughter and my son, Zachary. He loves to cook. So usually I'm his sous chef, but this is an opportunity for us to cook together.
I love it. You're so right. We are definitely the sous chefs. They are the experts, and we're going to give them the driver's seat. They're going to be the ones cooking for us today. What do you think?
Sounds great.
I think they use the kitchen more than we do, right? Well, Dr. Gracia, let's hear a little bit more about your background before we get into cooking the dishes today.
My parents are from Haiti. I was born and raised in Spain, so I grew up with a mix of cultures. So we would eat arroz con pollo, paella, and at the same time we would eat légumes, griot, which is the Haitian dishes. So Zachary has grown up with a lot of that. So we love all kinds of food, and we're excited to be here.
That's fantastic. You're so right. We have a fusion of flavors and foods. So my husband's Jamaican and I'm a Trini, and we eat everything in between. So, you know, that's the beauty of the Caribbean culture. There's so much fusion happening, right? Don't you agree?
Absolutely. My husband's from Colombia, so we throw South America in there as well.
Without a doubt. Everybody's welcome to the table, right?
Absolutely.
We're going to actually start off with the drink today, but before we get into actually making each dish, why don't I just go through the ingredients just to make sure that we recap it for our audience. So we're going to start off by making the non-alcoholic lime and ginger infused green tea. So here what I've done is I have steeped 2 green tea bags. You can use 1, and you can use a decaffeinated version in some warm water. Let that sit for a little bit. And to that, we're going to add a little bit of date sugar, like about a teaspoon of date sugar per serving. Now, date sugar has what we call a low glycemic index. It doesn't cause the insulin in your body to go up too high, so it actually is a little bit healthier for you. You can make your own date sugar. You don't have to buy it in the store. You just buy some store-bought dates, cut them, dry them in your oven, or if you have a dehydrator, fine, or just leave them out until they get rock hard. Here I have some dried dates. And you take this and put it in your food processor or pulverize it and it becomes a fine powder. And there you go, you've got your date sugar. If you don't have date sugar, you can use coconut sugar. That's also a lot better than granulated white sugar, brown sugar, or honey, which is too many calories. We can kind of keep our bellies down and our waist nice and trim, and diabetes tends to stay away or is under better control with that. And we're adding ginger. You can do that grated or sliced depending on your taste. And we're just putting a little bit of lime juice in there. We can serve this iced or you can serve it warm. So we're going to just serve it the way we have it today. And then with our green bean dish, we're literally making a curried long bean. We call it bodi in Trinidad, also known as bora or asparagus bean. You know, I remember being at my mother's table and just snapping these apart, and then we would go ahead and curry it. We're going to cook that in a nice curry infused sauce, you'll see over time, and then we will serve it with a whole wheat pita bread, or you could serve it with whole wheat roti. Now, if my second daughter, Anissa, was here, she'd be the one making the roti. She's our roti queen. So we will go through the dishes together. Dr. Gracia, are you ready?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, let's start with the drink. So you've got your cups of the steeped tea. Is that right?
Yes,
I'm using a little pot. Perfect. Okay, good. So to that, we're going to add a little bit of the date sugar, or you can use the coconut sugar as I mentioned. You can also choose to not sweeten it at all. That's another option, okay? It's only 10 calories per teaspoon. We're going to add in the lime juice that I have right here, right into the pot. And do you want it to be ginger forward or ginger slices? If you have grated ginger, if you want a more of a powerful ginger punch, or ginger slices, tame it a little bit.
Oh, grated ginger.
Grated ginger. All right, that's my girl. She wants it full strength. All right, there we go. We're going to add that to the pot. We're just going to stir that together nicely. I'm going to let that flavor infuse a little bit. And that's all you need. Now you can either serve this iced, or you can just pour it straight from your pot. So Nadia, you hold on to this glass. We just put a little lime slice on the top of our glasses. I'm going to pour you some right here. Right at the top. Get a nice ginger punch to it. And again, this is just water and green tea, lime juice, some ginger, and a touch of date sugar. Very, very low calorie, very refreshing. Do you have your drinks done? Well, we're going to toast to you. Toast to having you here with us today. Toast to our families, to health and wellness, before we start our main dish. Well, Dr. Gracia, how does that taste? Oh, isn't that good?
Yes.
Right? And you can
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, Dr. Gracia.
Delicious.
It is. Now, if you want a little sparkle in there, you can put a little bit of carbonated water. Make sure, of course, I tell all of our viewers, watch the salt. There's still some salt in some of those carbonated waters. So if they read the back, they just get the ones without salt in it, or, you know, low sodium versions of it, then that's going to be a lot healthier. What do you think? Put this over here for you.
Thank you.
Are you ready to cook the main dish?
We are. We're excited.
Fantastic. So your pan, just heat your pan up to about medium heat right now. And as that is heating up nicely, you can get your olive oil and you have your ingredients ready. So the first thing, Nadia, you want to put like maybe half of this. This is about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. She's going to use maybe half just because we have a non-stick pan. We don't need to use the whole amount because the non-stick pan is going to do the rest of the job for us. Perfect. That's good. So we're going to let that, do you want to use a bigger spoon or the smaller spoon?
I'll use the big spoon.
Okay, there we go. So once we, she gets ready to have the ingredients get in there, we're going to make sure that the oil itself is heating up nicely. You're going to start to see that it's going to separate slightly. It's perfect right now. And now at this point, once you start to see, if you have a wooden spoon and you place it in there, you may notice a little bit of bubbling happening around that wooden spoon. Then you know your oil is nice and heated up. Okay? So at this stage, we are going to add in, I call it our trinity, the onion, the garlic, the Scotch bonnet peppers. Now, when we put that into the oil, the room is going to start to smell amazing. And you're just going to want this dish to cook quickly so you can eat it. Okay? So the next step here, we're going to put in our onions first. And we put in the onions first just because we don't want the garlic to burn. Just go ahead and throw that right in there. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Got it? Beautiful. So Nadia's adding all of those onions in there. Perfect. And the next step, Dr. Gracia, is we're going to add in the garlic and the salt pepper. Here you go. Some garlic. Delicious garlic. You can pop that right here. And then our next. Do you smell those flavors coming together?
Smells delicious.
Oh, I know.
Garlic is excellent at lowering blood pressure.
Exactly. Tell us more about why you love using garlic, Dr. Gracia.
So they have a chemical called allicin, and it's a wonderful ingredient that's used in Mediterranean cooking. And it's great for chronic disease. It's great to decrease inflammation. It's great for lowering blood pressure. It's wonderful just as a calming to the body. Just the smells and just the good feeling that comes from the smell of garlic and onions.
Oh, yes. I mean, this is a smell that you will smell in many Caribbean homes, right? This combination of spices and herbs. So the next thing we're going to do here is actually add in our pimentos. Pimentos, you can do that chopped. It's another nice brightness. It adds another depth of flavor. Turn it up. Increase the heat slightly. Okay, keep going. Okay, now that the pimentos are in there, the oil begins to get flavored even more so. And the next step right now, as we let that sit a little bit, we want the onions to get nice and translucent. I'm going to just pop this in here like this. Let the onions just kind of hang out a little bit into that oil. And at this point, while this is cooking down, Dr. Gracia, what are some of your favorite dishes growing up?
So I used to love my Haitian food with rice and red beans and chicken that my mom used to make. And then we used to love paella, which is a typical Spanish dish that many of you, I'm sure, are familiar with. And it has all kinds of meats and rice and has saffron, which is so good for you and so typical of Mediterranean cooking. Those are some of the things that we used to cook at home and delicious.
That sounds amazing. Well, I'm a big paella fan. We love it. We order it whenever we get a chance. But great that you cook it, you make it. The next step we're going to add is a curry powder while we're catching up on our favorite dishes. Just sprinkle that curry powder straight in there. So did you cook a lot at home with your family?
We did. We had always our aunts there, and we always had family over. We were a small Haitian community, so all of the members of the community would come together and as families, and we would cook in the kitchen.
I love it. Well, we made a spicy curried codfish at the last cooking show, and I made my own pickles, and I am hooked. I now always have a jar of pickles in my fridge.
That's very typical. It's delicious.
Oh, let me tell you, it goes with everything. It's so nice. I learned so much about all of our Caribbean cultures and how much integration there is, but how much food is really at the center of our lives. So if we can make some healthy changes there, I mean, we know that our Caribbean community is more so affected by diabetes, heart disease, stroke. We have the opportunity to take our health in our own hands just by making some of these changes and increasing activity and staying away from smoking, and then we'll be okay. What do you think?
Pretty simple.
Yeah, we'll do it together, right, as a team.
Absolutely.
So the curry is cooking down a little bit. We're going to let it cook down just a little bit more. At this point, you don't have to add any water because the tomatoes are going to, when you add that a little bit later, it's going to release its own water, and it's going to allow the entire dish to steam. So at this point, we can add in our green beans. Now, long green beans, we used to grow our own long green beans in Trinidad. Here, you can use any green bean. You can just pour it straight in there. Perfect, just like that. Here we go. One more left. One straggler. And as she's turning that around, just to coat the green beans with all of the spices, I am at this point going to just sprinkle in some cumin. Cumin adds a nice earthiness to the dish. You can keep stirring that. You're doing an amazing job. Gosh, thank you. So grateful to have our kids in the kitchen with us today, right? Zachary, how are you doing there?
I am very good.
We're very proud of you. Oh my gosh, I wish we had the ability to smell each other's kitchens right now, right? It's bringing together some delicious flavors. So now the last thing we're going to do before we let this steam a little bit is we're going to add the last two ingredients, the tomatoes and the green seasoning. Now I'm going to add the green seasoning before we add the tomatoes. Green seasoning is literally any combination of green seasonings that you have growing. And here we've got shadow beni or culantro. You can put cilantro in here. We have parsley, some lemon juice, some onion and garlic. There is Scotch bonnet pepper in here. If you just smell that, it's like amazing. It's so delicious. You can flavor any of your dishes with this. It's great with seafood dishes or meat dishes. The ingredients, again, go on nsucaribbeanhealth.com. You will see the entire ingredient set. So Nadia is going to add in the tomatoes. And then I'm just going to sprinkle in the green seasoning right there. And she's going to stir it together. Perfect. We are going to cover the pot and let it steam. And it's going to work its magic that way. Okay? Look how beautiful this dish is. What do you think, Dr. Gracia and Zachary? Yes? Are you excited to eat this, Zachary? Do you love vegetables? You love eating a lot of vegetables?
Like eating them raw most of the time.
That's the best way. I love it. I love it. Well, Nadia, she's our local chef in the house here. And let me tell you, my second daughter and I, knowing that there's a major amount of cooking going on in this house, when she came down from spring break, we planted a whole bunch of herbs and vegetables. And not even 2 days after we planted them, we started to see things sprouting. So we're going to send some of those pictures in the Facebook chat, at least one of the chats, or post them, just to show the progress of some of these herbs. And maybe we'll cook with it. We'll do a garden to table meal. What do you think?
That's wonderful. We also grow in the yard. Zachary loves to he has his garden. He just planted cilantro and parsley. And what other things do you grow, Zach?
One of the things that I did is, you know, when your garlic starts to sprout, you can actually plant that, and then it's kind of like chives, like garlic chives. So like chives, but they have a really good flavor garlic. And of course, also green onion or chives. And there's actually a type of, it's very similar to cilantro, but it's actually called culantro. And it's very, like, it has a much stronger flavor of cilantro than normal cilantro does. And I actually prefer to cook with that than normal cilantro, but it, like, you could just buy cilantro from the store. You can't really buy culantro from the store.
You're amazing, Zachary. Wow. First of all, your knowledge about not only these herbs and seasonings is incredible, but now you taught us something. We're going to be making sure we grow our garlic in that way. And you know, in the green seasoning that we use today, we have culantro in there. That's the shadow beni. We call it shadow beni in Trinidad. And you're so right. It has like a razor edge to it, but that flavor, oh, that to me summarizes a Caribbean.
Yes.
Do you make a lot of seafood dishes?
Yes, actually, really, because I love fishing. So basically, I'll go on the boat with my dad. We'll catch whatever, and then whatever we can keep, we bring home, and I love to cook it up.
That's incredible. You know, I remember growing up in Trinidad, and I tell my kids, all four of them hear the stories probably so many different times. But in the Caribbean, when we were getting seafood, we went straight to the wharf, and straight from the fisherman's boat, we would get all of what we wanted to eat that day. So you could taste the brine in your seafood. It was incredible. So I want to hear more about what you're doing at Borinquen Medical Centers and what's important to you. Where's your passion in medicine? Where is that leading you? What kinds of things are you really want to talk to our audience about today, Dr. Gracia?
So right now we're really focusing on diabetes and obesity. Obesity is the root of so many chronic diseases, and the rates of obesity in this country are growing significantly. And so at Borinquen, we're doing healthy weight groups. We brought a health coach on board. We have a naturopathic, we have a integrative medicine physician who does auricular therapy to help with calmness, because stress is also a factor in obesity. There's so many different factors in obesity: stress, sleep, nutrition. There are many people who just believe it's calories in and calories out, but it's so complicated. So we're trying to target all of the different factors: mind, body, and spirit, really. All of those can influence how you feel about yourself and how your body looks. So those are some of the things we're doing.
Well said, Dr. Gracia. That is beautiful. That is true integrative medicine, you know, a holistic approach to patient care. So in our College of Osteopathic Medicine, that is a major focus, looking at the mind, body, and spirit, as you beautifully mentioned, you know. It's important to not ignore one aspect because they're all interconnected in that sense. And hey, listen, you know, our family members, those we love, the people around us, I'm so happy now that we can ensure that we are continuing to pass our culture and traditions on through our children, but then they have innovative ways to really sort of reinvent things and have a new focus. So it's beautiful to see our kids cooking with us today, but also their own perspective. Nadia, anything you want to share about your thoughts about eating healthy, or what you enjoy cooking and why you enjoy cooking?
I think eating healthy is definitely a necessity, especially in today's society where we have a bunch of additives, a bunch of added fat, sugars, things that we don't need for food to taste good.
Exactly. Well said. Well, listen, we are herb and spice forward, right, in our cooking today. And we're highlighting the vegetables. And like Nadia was saying, and like Zachary was saying earlier as well, the foods that we're cooking with, the herbs and the seasonings and the spices that we already include in our Caribbean foods, we don't have to add extra salt or pepper. You notice we didn't even add salt yet, right? So we're going to let this steam down a little bit more. And once we get to that point, we're going to use a tiny little wooden spoon in here, a little measuring device, to measure out the amount of salt that we would need for this dish, which is not much. So we've made some big changes here. Dr. Gracia, are we ready to take a look at what we have cooking?
Yes, let's take a look.
Let's take a peek. All right. Oh, doesn't that look amazing? You can
Oh, that looks delicious.
beautiful, right? Look at those colors. And the smell. Oh, so delicious. Now, you could let this steam. You can keep turning it. Perfect. You can let this steam and soften a little bit more if you wanted it to have that texture. I like it with a little bit of bite, a little bit of texture to it. So whatever you choose to do. And some folks like a little bit more sauciness to it. If you like a little bit more sauciness to it, add a little extra water. The water will help to steam and thicken some of those tomatoes that got a little bit, that they release their water. You'll find that will give you that curry sauce that you'd like. But in this case right here, I think that's looking amazing. What do you think? Are you ready to try some of this?
Yes, absolutely.
Not much at all to make this meal. It's so easy, so simple, and you can make it ahead. If folks wanted to add any fresh fish or seafood to it, you can certainly do that. If you have any leftover lean proteins, you can also add it to it. But this dish, about, I would say, 100 grams of this, which is about, you know, a half a cup or so forth, or 3.5 ounces maybe, that's only like less than 50 calories and a lot of fiber and a good amount of protein. So I don't think that we would, I think we would feel very happy eating this meal. What do you think?
Absolutely. It smells delicious.
It smells amazing, right? I'm going to stir it just one more time there. And what I'm going to do now is plate this dish. Are you ready to plate it, Dr. Gracia? Do you have pita breads? You can cut those in half, just like that, and open up the little pockets. So I'm going to go ahead and just, no, you're good. You're going to keep stirring over there, and I will go ahead and I'll do it. Perfect. Excellent. I'm going to just grab a little bit of this and put it straight into my pita pocket. The tomatoes are there, the onions, the garlic. Oh, that smells amazing. That's it. And we have to make sure we plate for one more because it's two of us here in each kitchen, right? We're going to try it together. So I'll open another pita pocket. And remember, you don't have to use white rice. You don't have to use, you want to put as much fiber into your diet as you possibly can. And this is a fabulous, and it travels easily to have this pita pocket. It holds it all nicely together as well. Just like that. What do you think, Nadia? Looks good?
That's great.
And ours is going to have a little bit of bite to it because we didn't steam it for a very long time. So I'm going to pop that right in here. And there we go. I'm going to just show the camera our dish. Do you see that? Do you have yours plated, Dr. Gracia and Zachary?
Ooh,
Oh, beautiful. Do you want to test it? You want to try it?
yeah.
Grab one of these. We can get this down. There you go. Yeah, 2 hands. There you go. And let's try a little bite. Ready? Toast to it. Oh. Oh my gosh. Well, did it turn out well? You didn't even need the salt. You notice we didn't even have to use salt.
Delicious. It has a little bite to it too.
Yes, it sure does. Now you could add salt before you plate it if you'd like that. We chose not to. And now we'll just kind of go over some of the small changes that we made in today's dishes. Oh, let me tell you, this was so easy to do, but some of the changes we made, a lot of times there's codfish, salted codfish. We've eliminated the salted codfish. We kept it vegetarian. Instead of having extra salt, we lowered the amount of salt. We used fresh ingredients. We did not use any canned, beans and things like that. We've also eliminated potatoes because that's extra starch and carb. We've also minimized the amount of oil that we use when we use extra virgin olive oil. We used a non-stick pan actually to have this work for us. We used white rice and white flour. We used a whole wheat pita, or you can make a whole wheat roti. Okay? So to everybody today, oh my gosh, we're so excited to have you cook with us. And if anybody has any questions at all, we have a question. We have somebody's, oh, how wonderful. Look at these beautiful comments coming across the screen. If you have any questions, put it in the chat. Someone wrote on there, how long do you let it cook? Now, it just depends on your taste. If you want this to be a little softer, cook it longer. If you want to have a little bit more snap to the bean, cook it for just maybe 5 minutes or so. It doesn't need much more than that. So it really depends on what you enjoy, what texture you enjoy. That's the beauty of this dish. It's so flexible. Okay? And I can't wait for everybody, our audience, to make this dish and to send pictures to us. Dr. Gracia, it is such a pleasure to be here with you. And Zachary, a pleasure to have you in the kitchen with Mom today.
Thank you so much. The food is delicious. Thank you for this opportunity for me to try something new and to cook with Zachary. This is such a pleasure for me. And thank you.
Well, on that note, we're going to raise our glasses to a nice toast. We want to thank you again for being here with us. We want to invite everybody to join us the third Thursday of every month. And we want to again thank our sponsor, Aetna, for season 2 exclusive sponsorship and helping us spread the message. Well, here's to good health and long life, Dr. Gracia and Zachary. We wish you only the best.
We wish you the best. Thank you.
Thank you all.